A deconstruction story is the process of reversing the construction story. So, and we want to look at the reasoning behind why we can actually deconstruct it. So think in terms of just a building project. Let's start with a very base. Let's say we're working with Legos and we want to build something. So we start with the very base and we build it up. Okay, so once we have this constructed, then we want to look at how brick by brick we're going to deconstruct it. And so when we're deconstructing something, we're going to go through from its very last step to its very first step, and we're going to do that in the reverse order, reverse operations. So if we look at this equation right here, 4p plus 5 equals some unknown box value, and we see that the construction story is, so we're going to start with p. P is multiplied by 4. And then this product is added by 5, and we note that the result is just this box. So we want to let's look at this in reverse steps. So if we know that the product is being added by 5, so this product is being added by 5, we know if we subtract 5, we're going to be left with the product. And so if we subtract 5, so that's the opposite operation of addition, we're going to be left with this product. And then we know that p is multiplied by 4, so if we divide 4, we're going to be just left with p. And so by dividing that 4, we're left with just p. So if we look at what happens in terms of the truth statements, here's our truth statement, here's our equation. We know that this expression, 4p plus 5, has to be equivalent to whatever the box is worth. And if we subtract 5, we know that the 4p is what's left, and we know that the right side must be equivalent to the box minus 5. Because if 4p, when we add 4p with 5, we know that we just have the box. So if we subtract it, then we know that 4p is worth the box minus 5. And then if we look at just what p is worth, then that p is worth whatever is divided by 4. And so we know that the box minus 5 divided by 4 is what p is worth. So now let's look at this in an equation sense. And so if we look at this first problem, and we see from the construction story, so again, the story of the variable, we know that we're going to start with a is divided by 2, that quotient is subtracted by 5, this difference is multiplied by negative 3, the result is 9. So now we want to do this in reverse steps. So if we the result was 9, so we're going to start with 9. The difference is multiplied by 3, or by negative 3, so this step is going to be divide by, and if we're multiplying by negative 3, we're going to divide by negative 3. And we know that the difference is going to be left over here, and I'm just going to put this on the side just to kind of note it, and that difference is a over 2 minus 5. That's what we would be left with, because I know that I have a difference that's left. Then I know that this next step, if the quotient is subtracted by 5, that means I'm going to add 5. And if I add 5, I'm going to be left with a quotient, and that quotient is a over 2. So the quotient is a over 2. The difference is a over 2 minus 5. And the last step that we see here is if a is divided by 2, that means we're going to multiply by 2. And when I multiply by 2, I'm just going to be left with the a. And so the deconstruction story is just simply reversing the steps of what we did with the construction story. And whatever we're left with is these verbal statements of a, which is our variable we started with, the quotient, the difference, is exactly what we're going to be left with over here.